Esta es
This call
Global
is now being
Talent.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello, hello.
Okay, hello.
Hey, Joseph. Hey, how's it going? I want to go ahead and welcome you back to another episode of You Have a Collect Call From. And man, we're definitely, or I'm definitely looking forward to listening to the rest of your journey.
Okay. So I guess where we left off last time, I was explaining on the incident that took place at my sister's house, and so anyways, my nephews they come up and they let me know what this individual was saying and stuff. So me and him talk, and it seems like everything's going to be okay. And then a couple of my homies drive up, and my nephews tell them what was said, and they didn't appreciate it. So they wanted to get even with this guy, and it just went crazy from there. He ended up getting a pistol whipped, and another innocent bystander, he was sitting in the car. Nobody had even seen him, but one of my homies, that he was really intoxicated, so he put his weapon into the window of that car, and the guy in the car turned the weapon on him and shot him. And once that first shot rang out, then the other guys pulled out their guns and shot into the car, and ended up killing the innocent guy. And then they loaded my homie up, the one that got shot. They put him in the back of an El Camino and rushed him to the hospital and dropped him off there. I jumped back into my vehicle with my girlfriend and drove to Paris and started shopping and getting receipts to get my alibi. And then a couple days later, it was raining real bad, and where my mother lives, she lives in the hills. And once it starts raining like that, the roads get real bad. So it's hard to get up and down just her driveway. So my parole agent had called and told her that he needed to see me, that it was very important that he see me, not to make a molehill into a mountain, that to come and see him immediately. And so I called him back, and I told him, I said, hey, it's raining real bad right here, and it's hard to get off this mountain. And he said, well, I need to see you. I don't care how you do it. I need to see you right now. It's very important, so get in here. So I drove down there, and I was sitting in the I signed in, waiting. I was sitting in the lobby there, and usually the person at the desk, though, once I sign in, he or she will tell the agent, hey, Garcia is here. And then she'll tell me, go ahead and go back. But at this time, he came out. And he said, all right. He goes, I'm glad you came. Come on. And he was walking me back to his office. And when he went into the door, I followed him. And as soon as I crossed the threshold, there was two detectives there, and they told me to put my hands on the wall. And they patted me down, emptied my pockets, and they read me my rights and told me I was under arrest. And they asked me if I wanted to talk and all that, and I told them, what's going on? You know, I don't even know what's going on. So they explained it to me. And I told them, hey, man, I had nothing to do with that. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. And they were going, and so they told me, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to, I told them my alibi, and I had witnesses where I was, and that I was nowhere around there and stuff. So they said, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take you down to the county jail, and we're going to look into your story, and if it rings true, then we'll go from there. And then they said, hey, how do you feel about a lie detector test? We can get it done and get this out of the way right now. And at first I was like, yeah, I'll do a lie detector test. I have nothing to hide. And so we get into the vehicle, and they start driving me downtown to Riverside County. And I changed my mind about the lie detector test. I said, you know what, man, I don't trust that test. I'm not going to take it. And they were like, all right, well, that's cool, but you're going to sit in the county. We're going to check out your alibi, and like we said, we'll go from there. So they got me in there, booked me, and I ended up taking it all the way to a jury trial. And I lost a case, so they sentenced me to 26 years to life, 15 to life for a second-degree murder, and 11 years prior. So it came out to 26 to life.
What kind of priors did you have?
I had the prison prior from before, and I had it gave me a gang enhancement, and they gave me a gun, which I never had a gun. Even in the trial, it said that I never had a gun, but they still convicted me of having one.
And when you were going to court, how long did you remain in county jail during your trial? And did anybody? Go ahead. Go ahead, James. Yeah. So I was gonna ask. So how long were you in county jail for? And then if anybody was testifying against you when you were going through the court proceedings?
Yeah, I stayed in the county for pretty close to 2 years fighting it, because one of the guys that was with me, he took off to Las Vegas, and so they were searching for him for a long time, and we kept postponing because he was actually the shooter. He was actually the one that shot the innocent victim in the car. So we're.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I had my attorney keep trying to postpone it until they caught him, but they couldn't catch him, so we ended up just going. We couldn't put it off anymore, and I had the main individual, the one that was talking about me and the group I ran with. He testified, and then there was a elderly lady that she lived in a mobile home down the street, and she said she witnessed the incident go down from her window. And then there was another guy. He said that he was there underneath one of the cars working on it, and when all the gunshots rang out, that he ran, so he witnessed parts of it too. But there was, I think there was a total of four people that testified.
And that would be like people, like just the people are like in the vicinity that witnessed it, or did some of your crimies also participate in that testifying? No crimies did, but people that lived within. I'm gonna say, well, the elderly lady, she lived. Actually, it was her testimony was questionable because she like I say, she was an elderly lady, and she wore glasses, and she mistaken
me for another person at one point in her testimony. So her visual wasn't as what she was saying she witnessed, you know. But the guy that it was all started around, he was right there, and like I said, I had helped him. I've known him for a long time, for a lot of years, and then I had helped him once at the high school when the football players were going to get him. So he knew exactly who I was, and even in my trial, because me and all my brothers, we all look alike. We're really, really similar. And I had one that he was so close to me that I almost identical, that everybody sometimes used to always mistake us. Even the officers at certain times would mistake us. So we were trying to bring that up in my trial too. Like, hey, are you sure it was this Garcia and not this Garcia or that Garcia? But he was adamant, no, it was Joseph.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
So, but yeah, it was only 4 witnesses that testified against.
And when you're going through the trial, do you have a hired attorney, or do you have a public pretender? What's your situation when it comes to a lawyer?
I had a state appointed.
Oh, okay.
That's a little bit different than a public defender.
Yeah.
Because a state appointed is he's more practices, you know, murders and kidnappings and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a state appointed.
And normally, when you get a state,
actually he's a judge now.
Oh. So right now that you mentioned judge, normally the state appointed attorneys, right, are those given to you by the court, the judge, or how is that worked out?
Well, it's given to you by the county of Riverside. Since you can't pay for an attorney, afford an attorney for yourself, they appoint one to you, and they. I guess I'm not really sure how it works. Just word of mouth is that, you know, every state appointed attorney has to take a case every now and then. So they pick them out of random and say, okay, you're going to represent Mr. Garcia in this murder case, you know.
Yeah. So once, do you remember what your reaction was once you were found guilty, and when you got found guilty, do they normally read off your sentence right there, or did you have to wait a certain amount of time before they told you what you were going to be sentenced to?
Well, once the trial came to its end, and the jury went out to deliberate, I knew I was 100% sure I was going to get found guilty, because I remember that they escorted us back to our cells, and I was in high power. So it was a single man cell. So I went in there and I shaved my head, bald, and it was probably, I'm going to say it was probably about 4 to 5 hours, and they called us back. The jury came back with a verdict, and they found me guilty of second-degree murder. So once that happened,
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Once that happened, the judge let me, because my family members were there, so he let me take a picture. I took a picture with my sister and my mother, and then they took me back to my cell. And it was they gave us a 2-week They postponed it for 2 weeks for sentencing.
All right. And would you like to call us back? Because right now, I know we got about 20 seconds before this call ends, and then we'll go ahead and start off on a fresh one.
Okay, I'll call you right back.
All right, perfect. Hey, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. So for anybody that's joining us right now, these calls, these collect calls are actually, they're actually live. They're happening right now as in real time. So he is going to be calling us back right now in a moment or two, and once he does call us back, we'll go ahead and continue with his journey. Right now, he was just walking us through obtaining his life sentence, and then we're going to get into his journey through the California Department of Corrections. He's a little bit on the older side. I believe he's in his early 60s. To what number? Oh yeah, no, that number is just for that dedicated line is just for people that I bring on. That's not a number that I share out publicly. There is another number that I do got publicly sometimes when we do take calls, but right now we are not taking any calls. But thank you for asking. Thanks for the support. So right now, when can I call you, Frisco Shay? Right now, towards the end of the call, if you want to call in, then go ahead and call in, and then we'll go ahead and do it like that. And then Rosie writes, "It's nice that you do something like this, and thank you, Mrs. Gracias, highly appreciated." You know what? This is kind of like a therapy for me. It helps me interact with people and hear their stories. I've been taking calls like this for years. The only difference between now and before is that the people that are coming on, I don't have any connection to. Before, with the calls I used to take before, they were my friends. All right.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tellink.
Hello.
Okay, hello.
All right.
So they put it off for 2 weeks until for sentencing, and then 2 weeks later I went back, and that's when they sentenced me. And it actually didn't. Once the sentencing was done, it took like maybe 16 days. It was 14. I know it was 14 to 16 days before they came and picked me up for the state prison.
And at that time, were they still taking you to Chino for reception, or where did you end up going for reception?
No, they took us to Tehachapi.
Oh, Tehachapi.
The 3-yard in Tehachapi.
Yeah.
That was their. They were intakes there.
And during those times, and do you remember like around what year this was that you landed in Tehachapi?
That was 19. That was I landed in Tehachapi in 90. It was 94.
94. Okay. All right, man. So it was a different time back then, like the way everything was running.
Yeah.
Before, right? So how long did it take you for you to get classified and end up on your designated yard?
Well, from there I went. I stayed there like I'm gonna say at least. I stayed down there for about maybe close to 3 months, and then they put me up for transfer.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
while I was waiting on transfer, I picked up an assault, so they sent me to the ad seg on the 4-yard in Tehachapi. So I had to go there and wait there. And by the time that committee seen me and the paperwork was all done, the CDCR 115, they just ended up putting me on that yard right there on the level 4 yard in Tehachapi.
And
which was a blessing because I had an older brother on that yard, so I went right out there with him. He actually talked to the lieutenant, and they let me out there.
And was this one of your brothers, the ones that were living in Bakersfield, your older brothers, or was this a different other? Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah.
And
yeah, he was out there.
And how much older?
I got to go out there. He's that one right there was 12 years older than me.
12 years old. Okay, so yeah, there was a huge gap between you and your older brother.
Yeah, and then when I got out there, me and him became Sally's. He pulled some strings to have me moved into his house. I think I went out there and I was sailed up with some guy from Texas for like about 3 days, and then he got me moved. My brother got me moved into his cell.
You know what? And right now that you mentioned that, how does that work when somebody hits the California prison system during that time, and they were from a different state? Who like how?
Well, it actually depends on the status of that person, whether he wants to, if he's involved in something, or if he's just, a regular guy, then pretty much he just gravitates to whoever he meets first,
Yeah.
But for the most part, they're just hang out with the rest of their nationality, 'Cause back then there was a lot of that. You stayed with your own people.
And during that time, were they still? Did you guys still have weights? Were you guys allowed to smoke during those days?
Yeah. We had weights, and then we had that very bad habit, smoking. I regret that. I can't stand it now, though. I can't even stand the smell of it. But we had tobacco, and we got our family members could send our packages. We didn't have to go through the catalog. Like nowadays, everything you gotta get from a catalog. Back in them days, the early 80s and the 90s, you could up until I'm gonna say up until I was around 2000. I'm gonna say 2000, maybe 2006, when they changed it, and your family could no longer send you packages. You had to order through a catalog, approved vendor.
And what kind of things were you getting in your packages? During those years, was there any restrictions on what you could receive?
There was very little restrictions back then. It was that you could, because your family could. Myself, I would. My mother would send me my cigarettes, coffee, my Levi's, shorts, sweatshirts, sweatpants, tennis shoes, socks, shirts, pretty much everything.
Man, it was
the only thing that they you couldn't send was like canned goods.
And was that because of the metal? Or the lids?
Yeah, The, yeah, the lids, because when you open them. But it was canned goods and perishables. You couldn't send perishables.
Hey, let me ask you something. Compared, right now to back in those days, what do you miss the most about prison from the 90s?
Well, nowadays, it's actually, as far as the violence, it's a lot mellow now. Like, I'll use this yard for an example. This yard, when I came here, which I came here in late December of last year, and the minute it took me I was still on orientation, which you stay on orientation for 2 weeks. And while on orientation, just going to chow and back, I could see you feel the difference. There was no, how can I say, like somebody that's like been in here for a while, tension. There was no tension. There was grass on the yard, and you could feel it immediately that there was no tension at all here. Pretty much every prison I've ever been to, you feel the tension. You feel it's happening here, But in this yard, and since I've been here, they have alarms that.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Very minor alarms. You might get a slap right here maybe once every 90 days, or it's a medical alarm. But this is the most mellowest place I've ever been to in my life. So it's a big difference at this prison compared to other prisons.
And previous to
before I came here, I was in.
That's what I was
before
about
I
to
came
ask
here,
you.
I was in Lancaster, level 4, and that every day they open up the doors at 6:00 in the morning for they call it early morning workers, and they announce it, early morning workers ready for chow. And as soon as them doors open, there's alarms all day, and they could be really serious or just medical. But for the most part, you'll get, without exaggeration, you will get maybe 4 to 5 alarms a day, and out of those alarms, it's got at least 2 or 3 of them is going to be serious. I'll tell you a little story about, I think it was early 2023. I was in Lancaster, and I was the foreman in PIA Industries. And I had close to 50 inmates under me, where I was their boss, and every morning my bosses would tell me what I needed to have done, and then I would pick the guys and put them in their spots. Some guys were already lead men in certain spots. It's the only chemical factory in the state of California as far as in prison, and we made state bars of soap for all 33 prisons in the state of California. We made wax for the floors. We made dish soap. We made bleach. We made we dealt with corrosive material, acids, and everything. I'm certified in I'm a certified forklift operator, and I'm certified in chemicals. And so when you're in a position like that, you're dealing with, like I said, 50 different attitudes, or you name it. Everybody's different. So this one individual, he was having issues, and I guess I was just happened to be at the right place at the right time. He came at me with the box cutter, and luckily I seen him coming from behind a stack of boxes, and I lifted my arm, and he just cut my left arm. I have probably like about I'm gonna say a good maybe 6-inch scar on my forearm of my left hand from that incident. But I went out to the outside hospital. They stapled it up. I came back and went to work the next day. But it could get serious.
Let me ask you. I got a question from Miss Aquanet on TikTok. She wants to know: did you train any dogs in Lancaster?
Did I what?
Did you train any dogs? Because in Lancaster they have a dog training program, right?
Oh no, that's on A yard.
Oh, that's A yard. Okay.
No, that wasn't on that yard. Yeah, that's A yard. I was on C yard.
Is A yard a privileged yard?
Yes, it is. That you got to be straight and narrow to be.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
You got to be clean for I think over 3 years. You can't have no write-ups, nothing. You can't have any type of violence.
And is that I think
rumor has it they're bringing the dogs to this yard.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I did. I heard that also. Yeah, that they're going to be bringing them over to you guys
next month. Yeah, they're bringing them next month.
And do you know if it's going to be available to everybody there, or is it going to be only certain buildings?
No, you got to fit a criteria to be around any type of dogs. You can't have. You have to be clean for a certain amount of time. No.
All right, so he's gonna be he's gonna be calling us back right now. ICEMAN, man, wow, really? Your first passport, you just got this? Your first passport was would that be your first passport ever, like your American passport, or have you had one in the past and you never renewed it? I didn't get my first passport till I was I think till my 30th, like around when I was 30. So I've only had, what am I, 40? I'm 43 right now. So I've only had a passport for the last 13 years, because prior to that I hadn't been anywhere. But now that I do have my passport, and the last 13 years I've definitely been using it and going to different places and whatnot. So, and I think I renewed my passport I think like two or 3 years ago, and I've been putting in some work on it. So every time I go out, I'm always trying to get those stamps. It sucks now because, let me see here. All right.
This call is now being recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello.
That one got away from us.
Yeah, they snuck in on us. Yep.
Yeah, so they're going to have a certain criteria once they bring the dogs, and they're going to use Building 5. Right now, Building 5 is a program unit, and they have all single man cells over there, and even half of those guys aren't going to be allowed to stay there because they have certain crimes. You can't have certain crimes to handle the dogs neither. And from my understanding is they haven't set the new criteria for this yard yet, but when it comes out, they're going to post it and let everybody know.
And is everybody excited out there? Being, possibly being able to participate in this new dog program.
Wow, a lot of the guys that are like myself, we're trying to get home, and that's good for us, But there's a lot of guys here that are short timers. They got maybe a year left. They got I know at least 3 guys in my building that have like 2-3 months left. So they wouldn't be eligible to even participate, and nor do they want to, because they're already ready to go home.
You know what? I have a comment on here from you don't know her under her handle right here, but she's the one that runs the pen pal site. Locked Up Connection.
Okay.
She's in here.
I know
she's listening to your story.
Okay.
All right. And then So once the criteria comes out, we'll have a better understanding who can, and we'll be able to go to that building and participate in that program. I'm hoping I can squeeze in there somehow. Man, I hope you do. I hope you are able to participate in that program, and because that's a new skill that you would pick up. Just like you have that forklifting.
That I can honestly say, all the years that I've been in here, and in my juvenile halls as a youngster and stuff, I had never ever did anything good. But when I got to Lancaster, and getting to Lancaster was a fluke, because it was the only place the CDC said that I could go because I had enemies in all the prisons. So they said, you can only go here, so we're sending you here. And they sent me there, and as soon as I got there, there was friends of mine that I've known for years, and they were working in the PIA, and they asked me, hey, you want to work? And I was like, yeah, I want to work. So they got me in there, and I started on the soap line, just a regular worker, and I was there. I worked there for 8 years and became the foreman. I got certified in forklift operator, certified in chemical worker. I knew all the machines. I made sure all 33 prisons got their orders on time. I had a responsibility that I never had in my life, and I ran with it, and I got a lot of good out of that.
And how long did it take you to complete that program?
Well, they had an apprenticeship, and the apprenticeship was I have the paperwork still in my house with my certificates and license and all that, but I'm almost positive it was 400 hours. It took up, I'm going to say, a little over almost 2 years. You take a lot of tests, and then you got to get certified in certain stuff. Like me, I had to go to the MTA and to use the mask, the breathing apparatus, because you go in, when you're dealing with certain chemicals, you have to wear that. So I had to go do a medical exam to get that. And then I had to do a driving test for the forklift, and then a written test for the forklift.
Hey, I got a question for you from the TikTok. Do you know how to? Miss Aquanet wants to know if you draw on paños.
Yeah, when I was in Pelican Bay Shoe, that's pretty much all I did. I would tear the sheets, sew the sheets up. I would tear the sheets to the size of a handkerchief, and I would sew all around it, and then I would use it and draw on them.
And what years?
I just did a drawing in my house about 3 weeks ago. I was going to send it to one of my little nieces, and I still have it right there.
And when were you up in Pelican Bay?
I was in Pelican Bay from I think it was 90. I was 2003 to 2008. I was there in the Bay, and then I went back again. And it was the first time I went was in 97 to 99, and then I went back, and it was 2003 to 2008.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Both times I got an indeterminate shoe. And what that means is they send you in there, and then you go to committee every 6 months, and then on your annual, which is once a year, they decide if they're going to keep you or they're going to give you a second chance, or in my case, a sixth chance, and let me out and send me to a yard.
Let me ask you something.
Go ahead, James.
I want to pull you back to, when you, like the early days when you got into prison. What kind of things were you doing back then? What were you participating in? Were you like in any programs? What was your daily life back? Like maybe like your first 2-3 years in prison.
Okay, when I first came to prison back in 1984, I was a youngster, and I had the mentality, as I said earlier, because of my brothers, that I wanted to be just like them. So I did nothing good. Throughout my prison, I never done anything good until the year 2015. That's when I started. I finally got it in 2015 that if I wanted to go home, and if I'll put it like this. I was in Lancaster. I was in a program, and one of the teachers told me, Garcia, I want to be able to have you move next door to me, and I know that me and my family are safe. When he said that, I was like, okay, I get it. You don't want it the way I was when I first came to prison. Nobody wants that person for a neighbor. They don't even want them living in the same city, So it took me a really, really long time and a lot of years to understand. Hey, I got kicked out of society because of the way I was, So I really didn't do nothing good until 2015. I got numerous 115s. I remember back in San Quentin, it's a cement wall, little cell, single man cell. I put a hole in the wall. I put my knife in there. I peeled I blocked the hole, sealed the hole with wet soap. Then I took paint.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I peeled the paint from underneath my bunk and put it on the hole in the wall that I made to hide my weapon. And when they came to search it, they used to go in there, and back in them days, it would be like at least 30 officers, and they would have wooden, you know, the axe handles?
Yeah.
The long axe handles that you would put an axe. Well, they would all of them would have those, and they would start hitting the bars. Because back then it was nothing but bars. There wasn't no solid doors or the honeycomb doors. It was all bars. So they would hit those bars because we used to cut out of the South. We used to remove one or two of the bars, and then put it back and hold it there with wet soap and let it dry and hold it there. So when we seen our enemy coming out on the tier, all we had to do was pull them bars out and get on the tier and get him. So they pulled me out of my cell. They cuffed me up to the railing, and they went in there and started hitting my wall, and they found it because it dented in. And they charged me for that wall. So I did nothing but bad up until 2015. Then, with the help of other individuals that had already found that they needed to do the right things to get out, with their help, I started my journey as far as changing the way I wanted to live and how I want, and my road to one day getting out of here.
So the individuals that you were that like-minded individuals that you have connected with, so are you talking about like CGA, like those type of groups, Gogi?
Yeah, I did CGA. I did that 3 times. I did victim awareness. I did AVP, Alternative to Violence program. I did the regular course, and I did the advanced course. I did realistic honor. I did houses of healing. In Lancaster they had a program. It was called the Amity program. It's really big. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of it. And I did that program, which they have everything in there. They have family relations, anger management, for alcohol and drugs. They have it's a variety of classes that I stayed in there for, I'm going to say, at least almost 2 years, and I liked it. I never, it was easy. It's easy to, when you come in here, you get together with your friends in here, and you can talk all day. You can sit there and laugh and joke and say whatever, and you never.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
There's no, you could do it with your eyes closed. But I can remember the very first class in that program, Amity, when they asked me to get up, and they had the word of the day, and they had it written on a chalkboard, and they said, Garcia, could you please read this? I got up and read that, and immediately I started sweating. And it was probably maybe 60-some degrees outside, where I had a jacket outside. So it wasn't hot. It was just that I had never done it before. So my body told me that this is not normal for me. And I got that. I had never been...
All right, man. I lost track of time. I didn't even realize the 15 minutes were coming up. Anyhow, he should be calling us back shortly, and once the live is freezing. What? That's all. You know what? You know what? You know what? It's because I have it on Wi-Fi. I should have done it straight off on my phone. Let me see. Let me turn off my Wi-Fi because... Let me see if that fixes it. All right. So I just turned off... let me see. Resume. Okay, so I just turned off my the Wi-Fi. Please tap, share, and follow. Hey, thank you, KC _. Hopefully that fixes up the live right there from freezing. I might have been stressing my wireless network over here. You know what? I think I know what's causing that. It's because sometimes I turn on. Let me see. My VPN might be causing that. I think I might have to turn it off next time so I don't have those issues. So right now I turned off the Wi-Fi. I'm on the mobile data, so that hopefully that fixes up the issues. So right now when Tito calls back, or Tito calls back, we'll go ahead and continue. And I thank you guys, for sharing the live. Highly appreciate it. And right now, if you're just joining us right now, we're taking a call from Centinela State Prison from Tito, and we're just disconnected. These calls only last for 15 minutes or so, and they're automatically called off. And there he is. He's calling back.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Tito.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Yeah, so when I got up there and I was talking and reading this word of the day, immediately I started sweating for no reason at all. I was just nervous. I had never talked in front of a group of people. Not only there was I'm going to say a good maybe 60 inmates and maybe a good 15 staff. So it was I kind of tripped out on that, how my body reacted to that, because I've never been I've always been able to talk. It was just that I guess you could call it stage fright, something I'd never done before,
So were you speaking in front of a group of people? Is that what caused that?
Yeah, I think it was something different that I'd never done before. So, and it just my body wasn't prepared for it. I guess it was alien to my nature, how I've always carried myself,
Yeah.
To say something, to read or say something that was a positive thing, not something negative, and in front of people that I normally wouldn't even talk to. But after going to these groups and like I remember one day I was in a group and they were talking about triggers, and I looked at the guy next to me who happened to be one of my friends, and I told him, "What's that? What are they talking about? A trigger."
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
The only trigger I knew was from a weapon. I didn't know nothing about a trigger. And I was at that time, this was 2015, and I barely knew what a trigger was. And other words, and I remember one of the teachers, the sponsors, was like they were talking about abuse in the household, and I was like, I'd never been abused in my life. My mother and father never abused me, but I was so I thought that lifestyle was normal the way I grew up, and it wasn't normal. It was abusive. But in my eyes and the way I grew up, I believed that that's just the way it was, you know. So these groups, they helped me a lot, but it took me a long time to get there. So I never really did anything good up until 2015.
And prior to 2015, what were you doing? Like to pass your time up?
I was involved in moving weapons, trafficking narcotics, assaulting individuals, group activities. It was everything that you would think of in prison. I was pretty much doing it. That wasn't good. That's why I've always been on a level 4, and every time I went to board or something, they would deny me. A lot of places wouldn't even give me a job outside of the building because they wanted to keep their eye on me. PIA in 2015 was the first actual real job and responsibility that I had. I never had a license on the streets, and I got a license as a forklift operator in prison. That was a big deal to me. I got my license in my house right now. I keep it in my little. I have a little plastic, like a sachet thing, and I keep it in there.
You know what? A little bit earlier.
That was a big deal.
A little bit earlier on, one of our viewers that goes by the name of ICEMAN, he had asked if you've ever been to the board of paroles before, or a board of parole hearing before.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I went twice already.
And what was that experience like, going to the board of parole hearings?
Well, the first one I described it as they make you sweat. And it was probably just me, but to me they made me sweat because they call you in there and they put you in this little holding cell and you sit in there for a minute, and then they pull you out and they let you talk to your attorney, and your attorney pretty much tells you, okay, this is what we're going to do, say, and all this stuff. We get that straight, and then they put you back into the holding cell, and you sit in there. I literally thought I sat in there for a good hour. And you get nervous. Speaking for myself, I got nervous. I went through everything in my head, and I was just like on the hot seat. I was getting anxious. All kinds of different things were going through my head. And so when they finally did pull me in there, I was really nervous. And they go through your name, and they start asking you questions and about your 115s, because they have everything right there. The worst thing you can do is go in there and try to lie to them or minimize or any of that. I remember I went in there on the first one, and they were telling me about the company I kept, and I was trying to deny it. Hey, that's not me, and all kinds of good stuff. I didn't have nothing under my belt. I had no programming. I had no certificates. I had no groups. I had nothing. Literally zero. All bad. So they gave me a 5-year denial, and I went. Then they gave me a paper telling me, hey, look, you need to do this. Get this. And it was a whole list. So I went back out there, and that's when I landed in Lancaster, and I started doing all these things, trying to change the bad and putting making me a positive list, because I had nothing but a negative list. So I started doing that. I went back to board again, and they were like, "Okay, now you're going somewhere." But yet the DA still wanted the commissioner to give me a 10-year denial, and this was during COVID, so I had a mask on. Everybody in there had a mask. They were on the computer, the website, and I had two officers directly behind me, and the DA was asking me questions because I have an appeal going right now, and she was asking me about my appeal and do I know when I'm going to be going back to court on it and stuff like that. And she told the commissioner that I was laughing, and I didn't say nothing, but I was like, in my mind while she was talking, I wasn't really even listening to her because she had already took my focus away by saying that I was laughing. And so I was like, in my mind, I was like, laughing? There's no way I'm going to sit there and board and laugh at anything anybody had to say, So they asked me to we're going to take a recess, and they said they'd bring me back in 5 minutes. So I went out there and back to the holding cell, sat there for in my mind, another hour. They brought me back in, and the commissioner asked me. He told me, "Hey, look, we're not gonna take the recommendation that the district attorney said. We're going to give you a 3-year denial, Mr. Garcia, and we want you to continue your good programming, keep going to your groups, and we'll bring you back in 18 months." So, and then he goes, "You have anything to say?" I said, "Yeah, I do." I said, I just want to make it clear that at no time whatsoever did I ever laugh in this hearing." And the commissioner said, he goes,
"Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada."
He said, "We know you didn't, but thank you for addressing it." I guess when they sent me out, they asked the officers if I did, because they're directly right behind me. They're like right on my back, and they would have heard any noise coming from me, And you can't see my face because I had a mask that covered my whole face. So I was glad that they knew I didn't do that, and just gave me the 3-year denial.
And that time, why did they give you the 3-year denial?
Well, from my experience, that's what they do to everybody to see if you're going to go out, if you're going to be angry, because you have the things that you pretty much need for them to let you out. When I went in there on that hearing, I had 7 years clean. So, and like I said, I had all the groups, the certificates. I was working PIA. I never missed a day of work ever. So I had a lot of good positive, and that they couldn't even believe I had these because I stayed in 3 groups a day and went to work. So I think they just pretty much do that to a lot of people that, okay, we're going to give him a 3-year denial and see how he accepts that, And if you do good, then they usually, that I've seen, they bring you back in 18 months and they give you a date, But that's the reason why I think they did, because he really just told me, that's all he told me, to say, "Hey, Garcia, keep doing what you're doing, stay in your groups, and we'll see you in 18 months.
And when is the 18 months when is that gonna be?
I go back February. I think it's the 9th. I'm almost positive it's February 9th, right around there of next year.
Oh, so that's right around the corner.
Yeah, and they were always telling me is to get to a lower level. They wanted me to get to it out of the level 4. And it just so happened that my counselor called me into his office one day and he told me, hey, man, he goes, what do you feel about leaving this prison? I said, what do you mean? He said, we want to give you a behavioral override. And I said, well, what's that mean? And he told me, you've got a good program, you're doing a good program, and we don't think we need to have you here no more. We can send you to a level 3. He said, where do you want to go? And I told him, well, I'm a foreman in PIA. I love that job. The best thing that's ever happened to me in my life was that job. So I really didn't want to leave. But I had to because...
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
That's what the board told me. Get out of this level 4. And my counselor's telling me that they want me to go to a lower level. So I told them, okay, I would like to go to Tehachapi, the level 3 in Tehachapi, because their PIA is a sister PIA with the one in Lancaster, and my boss has told me that I would go and keep my position and everything, and I would go as soon as I got there, I'd go right to work. But they said they were closed for intake, so they sent me here. And there's no PIA on this yard. But as soon as I got off classification, orientation, I got a job in the kitchen, and I'm a cook in the kitchen here. I go to work every morning at 4 o'clock in the...
All right, so we hit that 15-minute mark again, and he should be calling us back shortly as soon as he can, and once he does, we'll go ahead and continue, man. And I'm glad it's Friday today. I think this week I think I might have a 4 or 5 day weekend, so definitely looking forward to that. I haven't been on in the last few days just because I've been working. I got some other videos that I recorded with Javi or Javier, and I need to. I finished editing one of them I think yesterday, but I still haven't uploaded it. So I'm gonna go ahead and upload that onto YouTube and on TikTok. And I really appreciate you guys. You guys are sending roses, giving us thumbs up, little hearts, and all that good stuff. Really appreciate it. I know Casey _ fan. She just gave us a little lightning bolt. Oh, you know what? I've been meaning to ask you. I mailed out that taffy on Monday.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
Have you received that taffy yet?
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Sentinella, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
This call is now being recorded.
Para servicio al cliente, quejas o dudas sobre la factura. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Yeah, so as soon as I got off orientation here, they gave me a job, surprisingly, in the kitchen here and put me as a cook. So I get up at 2:30 in the morning. I make my bed, roll it up, I wash up, I make my cup of coffee, watch the news until about 10 to 4, and then I go to work every morning.
Yeah, I know, man. Man, you get up early. Do you take it? Do you also take it down early, also?
Yeah, I set my TV to go off at 9:30. So if I lay there watching it and I just fall out, I don't know what time.
And
but I'm up.
and are you participating in any type of? Are you going to school?
I go to work from 4 in the morning until about 9:30. I come back, I take a shower, and then I go to school at 9:45 in the morning. And then on the weekends, I'm in this group called TUMI. Me and Gary go together.
Man, speaking of Gary, how's Gary doing?
Oh, he's doing all right. He was out here, but I think he went in. He had a little problem with his power. About 5 cells got their power blowing out, and he barely got it. Barely got it put on today, and they were sweating it because it's the holiday, and they didn't know if the guy was going to come and turn it back on for him. But he got lucky, and they're good now. I had to get him hot water last night so he could eat.
And right now, how much time do you have left in the day room right now?
It's gonna be 2:25. We got until about 3:25.
Oh, okay,
3:15.
All right. You know what I'm gonna tell you?
There's only like about 10 of us out here.
I was gonna tell you if you wanna call in and do a video visit, we could go ahead and do that just in case any of the viewers want to see who you are. We could go ahead and do it like that. Switch it up a bit.
Well, there's a guy on the kiosk. He's a kiosk monster there.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think he's gonna get. Yeah, but if you want, if you're not busy tomorrow, I can make sure I get it tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that.
It would have to be this tomorrow evening because I have a class tomorrow morning. Me and Gary have TUMI.
Okay. Yeah, well, we could go ahead and do that tomorrow evening. Then we'll go ahead and jump on. We could do a few and interact like that.
Okay, because I'll make sure that I talk to this guy and get in there.
All right. Man,
yeah, he stays on it.
So from your prison experience, what else would you like to share with our viewers?
Well, when I first got here and these guys were doing this podcast with you, they were all telling me about it, and they were all saying, "Hey, you should do it because you've been in here a long time." And James and the viewers would really like to hear what you've been through and stuff. And at first I was like, yeah, I just listened to them and went about my way.
Yeah.
But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I wish they would have had something like that, like this, when I was growing up, because maybe it would have changed things, if I would have got to listen to somebody and that's went through here and done this. And when you're young, you don't you're surrounded by all the hype. Oh yeah, prison's this, prison's that, it's cool, They're not telling you the real deal. So I thought about that, and I'm like, if there's one mother, grandmother, aunt, uncle, father, whatever out there that could explain my story to his kid that is headed down the wrong road, this is not good. This is not a place that you want to spend the rest of your life. And for nothing, you lose family members. I lost my mom, I lost my father in here, and I didn't get to say bye to them, over the phone, my mother, but my father, I was in the shoot program when he died. They had to pull me out and tell me. I didn't get a chance to tell him bye or nothing. So if I reach one person, then I'm good with that, you know. So it's a good thing that you have this, and that's why I got on here to just say whatever I could say and not this is no place for anybody. Even though it's a lot different now. It's no place where anybody wants to spend their life.
You know what? And you said something just a moment ago that you lost your parents, and that's something that I'm sure when you were out, on the streets, running amok and whatnot, that's not something that ever crossed your mind, right? Like how prison was going to affect you, being in prison 10, 15, 20, 30 years of all the things that you're giving up, by going down this this path, right?
Oh man, that's just a little bit, because
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I lost my grandmother, I lost my grandfather, who my mother's parents that I was very close with. I used to go there. My grandmother, my mom's mom, she was my godmother, and I used to love when she would take me and show me different plants and what I could eat and what I couldn't eat, and there's different. I remember one time that I was at her house and we were moving logs of wood because we lived in the mountains, so she had a fireplace. We had to chop the wood, and we were moving the logs from one area to another area, and there was a big old snake, and I thought, I'm gonna get this. And my grandmother stopped me, and she showed me that she was the first one. I think I was like, I'm gonna say I probably like 7 years old. The difference between a rattlesnake and like a gopher snake or a garden snake. So she was always she was somebody that I respected and loved a lot, and I lost her while I was in here too. All my nephews, my sister's kids, and my brother's kids, they only know me through the phone. So
when you
and I have a strong ties with my family members.
When you lose a family member and you're behind bars, how does the administration handle something like that?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and they come in and if something happened right now, and they would call me and tell me go to the program office, and I'd get down there and they would tell me, hey, this is what happened, and then go back to your cell. That's it.
So there's no space
when I was
there.
In the
There's no space there for you to grieve properly, right?
No. You go back to your cell and you sit in there and lay on your bed or whatever. Like when my mother and my father died, and my grandmother and my uncles and aunts that I was close to, I just, on all of them, I just went back to my cell and told my cellie what happened, and then just put the headphones on, put music on. You're not really listening to the music. You're just zoning out, trying to remember all the good,
And at this point, how many family members have you lost?
Oh, so my grandfather, my grandmother on my mom's side, my grandparents from my father's side, they died when I was I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. But my mother's parents, I lost them. I lost my grandmother had 16 kids, and I The only ones that are left out of her kids now are just 2 aunts and one of my uncles. That's it. So I lost all of them. I lost 2 nephews. I have 5 sisters, and two of my sister's sons died in gang violence. There's been numerous family members that have died. But in here, you just gotta get up the next day, and like me, I go to work, you know.
Did you ever lose any family members when you were like? Did you ever do any shoot time?
I did. Most of my prison time was in the shoe. I did indeterminate shoe programs throughout the whole thing.
And when you were in the shoe, did you have a cellie or were you single cell?
I had a cellie, except for when I was in Pelican Bay. In Pelican Bay, you were single cell.
And how much time did you spend in?
And San Quentin too. I was single cell there for a while. Everybody that was there was single cell. I'm gonna say I spent a total of about 15 years in and out of the shoe, because they would keep me in there for 2-3 years, let me out. I'd come out. I wouldn't last a whole year on the yard. I'd go right back. Sometimes I didn't even do nothing, and they would come and get me and send me to the shoe because they said somebody gave them information that I was involved.
And they could
But I've been to every shoe. I opened up, I was one of the first buses in 1986 that opened up Corcoran Shoe.
And what was that experience like?
No, it was in 1988. That was crazy. Because they would put a southerner, a northerner, a black, and then a white in each spot, in each section, and then the next section.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
It would release you out to the yard. Back then we called it the hard yard. It's about as big as a basketball court, cement yard, and you had to fight. So you're either gonna get shot, or you're gonna go down to the ground. I got shot many a times with the block gun. I remember this one time there was this big old guy that came through the door, and it was my turn to go out to the yard with him, and I was like, oh man. That was the most scariest part.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Of that experience, but I got lucky because...
All right, so his 15 minutes were up. He should be calling us back shortly, and once he does, he'll go ahead and continue with his journey. And let me see, Miss Aquanet, do they still have shoe? And they do, but I think now it's a lot harder for them to actually put somebody in the shoe, and then I don't think they could keep you there for the amount of times that they had you in the past. And then Casey _ fan writes, do they have the green wall and oh man. Didn't somebody write a book about that? I think I've heard it mentioned before on YouTube. Oh man. So we're just waiting right now. We're waiting for him to hey, I have the book. There it is. Yeah, I knew it. I knew that sounded familiar. But so yeah, so there he is. He's calling back, and as soon as he brings on the computer, there we go.
This call is now being
Global
recorded.
Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Yeah, so like about 3 hours before where I was supposed to go to the yard with this big guy, he sent me a kite, and he told me that who he was, and he was actually a friend, so I lucked out. Yeah, believe me, this guy was one of the biggest guys I've seen in a long time.
And this was in Corcoran Shoe, right?
Yeah, Corcoran Shoe.
So this was during the time.
It would have been a bad day for me.
Man, it sounds like it. So this was during the time where when they had the gladiator fights. You know, I know it was in the news.
Yeah.
Some time back.
This was a little bit before that all started. This was because they had moved all of us out of San Quentin because they were converting it over to a level 2. So they moved us all out of there, and they sent us to Folsom and Tehachapi, pending us opening up Corcoran Shoe. But yeah, that's where it all started, right there. But like I said, there was just a few of us there at first. Once they started filling it up, then that's when it really got bad. You would have 5 cells going out there, and they would be betting on the fight, you know.
You know, I have a question on here from one of our viewers. She's asking, do they have the green wall in all prisons? Did you ever?
Oh.
They
don't have it in all prisons.
Yeah.
But they're in a few of them. I've been in a couple of prisons where they had them, and luckily I never really I kind of like just, I don't know, I think it was probably just luck. They never really messed with me. I mean, they would do their little regular stuff, you know, get you against the wall, put your nose on the wall, and spread your legs as wide as you can to where you could feel it, pain, and pulling on your arms when you're handcuffed behind your back so where you could feel it, but they never really beat on me or nothing like that. I just went through their little spill for about 3-4 minutes, and then they seen I didn't react, so they put me back in my cell, you know.
So I'm guessing that was like the earlier days before before it became as big as it
that
did.
Was the green wall didn't start until the 90s. Because in the 80s they didn't have that. The officers respected you, you know, because we pretty much ran the prisons. In the 70s and early 80s, the 90s, that's when, I'm going to say the middle 90s. That's when they started that green wall.
So I'm just reading a comment right here on the YouTube chat, and Scorpio Rising is writing, the green wall still exists in some prisons. So one of our viewers is saying that it still exists in some of the prisons to this day.
Yeah, it does exist, like I say, in certain prisons.
Yeah.
But like here in Centinela, they don't have that here. They didn't have it in Lancaster. You had a few officers in Lancaster that would they would act up, but they weren't part of the green wall. The green wall, the ones that I ran into were at Corcoran. They were at Salinas, Soledad, Pleasant Valley, but they don't have them in every prison. And if they do, they haven't yet revealed themselves to me.
Hey, let me ask you something. How would you know, or how did you know that they were part of the green wall? Did they have like tattoos?
Oh, they would say it. No, I don't know about no tattoos, but they would say it. They would be youngsters, and they didn't have no problem saying that they were part of it, you know.
And when they would tell you, would it be like they were gangbanging on you when they would say it?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly how they do it. They're almost, I'm going to say they're almost the same thing as, you know how they had recently, not too long ago, the L.A. County, the Banditos, the Sheriff's Department?
Yeah.
Same thing, different name.
Man, I remember the crash unit from LAPD. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but man,
no, I'm not, but I've heard of it.
At Rampart, man, it was all bad in that area, man. These cops would roll around three and four in a car, and they would jump out. If you're walking down the street and gaffle you up, like if they gangbang. It was a trip, man.
Yeah, I've had friends tell me that they've, because I have a lot of friends from.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And they would tell me how they would pick you up in your neighborhood and drop you off in your rival's neighborhood.
Yeah, they did that a lot, man. And everybody knew, if you're in the streets every Tuesday and Thursday, it was crash night. So you always had to, if you didn't have to be on the street,
duck and dodge.
Yeah, because they would do stuff like that. Yeah, if you LA, it's there's like a neighborhood every other block, so it was easy for them, to pick you up and drop you off in a different area. In every direction, you probably had enemies if you were from one of those local neighborhoods.
Yeah, these guys will tell me about it, So, and then I like to watch a lot of the crime shows on TV, 20/20, 48 Hours, Dateline, all that. I watch it,
Yeah.
They have a new one on called Police 24/7. I watch that. So there's a lot of them in the court. I watch court TV.
Yeah.
Even one of the judges got in trouble, and they kicked him off the bench for saying gang stuff on it.
Hey, you know what? And right now that you mentioned a judge, recently, within I think the last week or so, I recently saw some headlines where they were talking about a judge that supposedly or allegedly did a drive-by.
Oh, yeah. See, I hadn't seen that one yet.
Hey,
but
it's coming soon.
Yeah, they pretty much the green wall is no different than some of the sheriff's departments around.
Yeah. Let's see. So I'm reading one of the comments. Somebody put that
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
they hid under a car once when they were younger, I guess, to get away from from the police.
Oh yeah, I've done that lots of times.
Man, reflecting on your life now, what do you if you could do it all over again, what do you think you would have done different in your life?
Well, I hear a lot of people say, oh, because my childhood, my parents, but I don't believe in that, because I had in my eyes, I had the best childhood ever. I lived on a ranch. I had a horse. I could go out in the mountains anytime I wanted to. I actually, as a kid, there's caves out in them hills that I've been in them. I explored them caves. I loved that. Christmas, my favorite holiday as a kid. I loved it. I would, thinking back on how my mother, she left the city and brought us to the hills, so we would have a chance. She did everything she could for us to grow up and be good people, to have a good life. And I didn't get it. I would, knowing what I know now, I would. Oh man, I would never ever. That's why I say, if anybody's listening that is, this is not a life. I'm getting old. I'm old. Other than my brothers and sisters and my nephews and nieces, that's all I have. I don't know. Nobody knows if the board's going to let me out. I pray and I hope, and I'm trying to do the right thing so they will. But nobody really knows. I mean, I could go to work tomorrow and have an accident with the stove, or the oven will blow up or something. You don't know.
Yeah.
So I would do everything different, really. I would definitely respect the freedom that I was given, and I didn't respect or care about.
Well, hopefully, when the day, does come, where the Board of Parole finds you suitable to go home, you take care of that opportunity and enjoy your life.
Oh, the rest of my life, that's all I'm gonna do is enjoy it. I'm still. I've been lucky. I don't have no health problems. I'm in good health. Other than this white hair, I'm still healthy,
And that's something that you do see behind bars, right? You see a lot of people, as they get older, they start having health issues, complications, whether it's arthritis, heart issues.
There's actually a guy here that I've been knowing since the 80's, and he's all tore up. I'm 2 years older than him.
Yeah.
And he's got medical issues bad,
And we have a question from. Sorry, we have a question from
Le
Enliceman,
queda un restante de 60 segundos.
and he's asking, where do you plan to live when you get home or when you get out?
Well, like all my family live in Paris, California, and Lake Elsinore, California, and that's all I've ever known, you know. So I'm not. I don't know. I can't say because I don't know what the plan is, you know. But I know if I was to go to board tomorrow and they gave me a date, I would go to
The
halfway house.
Yeah, the transitional
The
housing.
Lifers house.
Yeah.
Because part of me being in that program, Amity, as soon as they ever do release me, they'll come and get me, and I'll go to their program for 6 months to a year.
You know what? All right, so the call came to an end. Yeah, so you know what? Once with anybody that's serving a life sentence, I believe it's a requirement for them to parole to a transitional house, and they have to be there. I think the minimum is, or the usual is about 6 months, but they do offer a lot of help, you know, to reintegrate them back into society. So right now, I think right now is probably like one of the best times, you know, to actually come home, because they have a lot of programs that are designated to help them, you know, whether it's to learn how to use a phone, tablet, job placement, housing, and a bunch of other things that they offer, you know, whether it's clothing, bus pass, and you know, with Blue or Joe coming home, you know, he's been you know, walking me through, like, you know, explaining to me like the things that they do for them now. So, oh yeah, money is the major one right there.
This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TITO.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
5.
Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Yeah, so I will go to one of their houses and do a 6 month to a year program as they integrate me back into the society, you know. But I know when I went to the county jail to try to get a resentence hearing, I was reading the newspapers in there, and they had I see numerous jobs for forklift operators. So I was like, oh man, if I go home, I'm going right into that, you know, because I used to load diesels in Lancaster. I would load them all day long, and I loved it, you know. So that's one of the things that I would really like to do when I get out, is get a job using the forklift.
You know what? And with the good thing now, you know, out like in Paris, Moreno Valley, and whatnot, they got a bunch of warehouses up, you know, towards that area. So I'm sure they're.
Yeah, that's what I seen that in the newspaper. Like I said, when I was down there, and they were starting at $35 an hour, you know. And I have the license. I'm certified. So I was like, yeah, I would jump right on that, you know.
Yeah, and then also now, you know, with background checks and whatnot, they could only go back. I think it's 7 years, but I think they even they got this thing called ban the box, where they can't even ask that question anymore.
Well, actually, too, PIA, all I have to do is if and when I get out, is contact them, and they'll set me up with the job. They said,
Oh, nice.
So that's a good thing too, you know.
Right now on the
I have a
go
I
ahead.
have a family member that he has a towing company, but and my sister told me that I would go right into that, but I really don't want to work for no family member, you know.
Yeah, that might be a conflict of interest.
Yeah, that would not be good for me.
Yeah, you're better off, finding your a job, possibly
Yeah,
through PIA placement
yes.
or through other means.
Yeah, I don't need no help getting into any trouble.
I have a question on here from TikTok from Rosie J, and she's asking ask him if he makes arts and crafts to keep him busy.
Well, I tried to, and it doesn't come out the way it should. I draw, but that's as far as I could do it. I've tried making shelves, because we make shelves in here out of cardboard, and the best I can do is it's not like some of these guys can make some good shelves that make them look like real shelves. This one guy made it. He was my Sally. He made an entertainment center out of cardboard and sold it on the chair for $35. And it went. He did it. It took him like a week to do it, and he put it outside the door, and it lasted maybe, without exaggeration, maybe 10 minutes before somebody came and bought it for $35. Canteen.
Huh.
Then I've had other guys that can make bracelets, and one of my friends in here, maybe you know him, Alfonso.
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with Alfonso.
Okay, well he always shows me earrings, how they bead the earrings and bracelets and stuff like that. And one of my little nieces, she turned 2 years old, and I had him make me a little pair of earrings for her, and they came out really nice, you know. But yeah, I can't do that. My eyes don't work like that no more. You should see me thread a needle. I have to stand under the light by the window with glasses on to get the thread in there. And it takes me like a half hour.
Hey Tito, so
Yeah, so.
we're about to be almost about an hour and 50 minutes on this call right now. I think this will be a good point to leave it off at, and then possibly continue tomorrow with either with some calls or with a video visit.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure I get that kiosk for tomorrow night. They should be letting us out at like about 7 in the evening.
Okay. All right.
And I'll make sure I can get on that.
Okay. So, once again, I want to go ahead and, thank you, for calling in and taking time out of your day, to share some of your journey through the California Department of Corrections. Also, I want to go ahead and, give a shout out to everybody, either whether they were listening through our YouTube stream or if they were listening over on TikTok. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, having these conversations, it'll help somebody out. There's some benefit, whether if it's an adult that has or knows
Esta
somebody.
llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Know somebody and it'll help them navigate or not being involved in anything that'll do anything.
Maybe even change their path,
Yeah, that's pretty much that would be it right there. Do you want to give out any shout outs or anything, Tito?
No, I just everybody, thank you for tuning in, but that's pretty much it, James. And thank you for allowing me to talk.
Man, yeah. So I'm definitely looking forward to listening to more of your journey. In the early days, because I'm sure you could definitely shed some light on how things were back then, and how they are opposed to how they are now. And I know you've seen a lot of changes happen in the last 10, 15, or 30 years.
Yes, I've seen I've seen everything change pretty much.
So right now, I'm gonna cut the stream right now, but don't hang up because I want to talk to you before you hang up.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Okay.
like I said, I want to go ahead and let everybody know, thank you for tuning in. And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we are out of here.